By political analyst Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Mr. Breakfast, thank you so much for making the time. Your reaction to the findings and recommendations of the State Capture Inquiry report?
Well, Desra, first of all, I went through the report at a glance last night. There's no way I could have read the whole
Absolutely
report.
not.
Yes, of course. I think the report as it stands, it strikes me as a well-structured report, written in a very accessible language, meaning that the report is written in plain English. That is very important because it means that the report is not pitched over the heads of people. So anyone can read the report that understands the language. I think the proof of the pudding is going to be in the eating, meaning that the most important thing now is to implement the recommendations. But I've got a gut feeling that there will be a lot of litigations, because you must remember the theoretical foundation of the concept state capture has always been challenged, because in my opinion, you've got two definitions, but at the moment we're working with one, meaning that state capture refers to a situation where there is a parallel structure whereby a particular family was influencing political appointments, or it refers to a shadow state. On the other hand, you have another definition that has been advanced by the forces of RET, that the state is an expression of class antagonism, meaning that the state represents certain class interests, meaning that when you are examining state capture, you have to examine then the historical development of the state, meaning that you have to go back to 1910. So there have been people who have questioned the scope of the commission, that it was too narrow. So I don't think that against that background, they will accept then the findings.
It's interesting what you say, and be that as it may, you still can't negate the fact that we still have to operate within the rule of law.
No, of course, Desra, corruption is not just a buzzword. Corruption is a systemic, it is a institutionalized. Institutionalization of corruption has made the fight against poverty, unemployment, inequality, a mission impossible, because the money that is meant for development doesn't go to where it's supposed to. It goes to people who have proximity to power. And that dichotomy escalates the class contradictions. So, of course, corruption has put a lot of people who are poor in particular on the back foot. But what I'm saying is that we mustn't pick and choose when fighting against corruption. We need to address the issue of corruption across the board, because there is an argument that even at the moment, for instance, the PPE scandal, that has been an expression of crony capitalism, whereby certain people have used social capital and political capital in pursuit of personal accumulation in order to amass wealth. So that is not different from my standpoint from what had happened during, the epoch of Msholozi and so on. So what I'm saying is that let's not pick and choose, or let's not take sides when we're talking about fighting against corruption.
Mm-hmm. Of course, that interdict by the Democracy in Action didn't succeed at the courts, but what do you make of President Ramaphosa receiving the state capture report while he also appeared before the commission?
Well, just to be fair and square to him, I think if President Ramaphosa was at the heart of the allegations. I'm sure Judge Zondo would not have handed over the report to him. He would have chosen someone else. So we would have known about that. But I think at the same time, President Ramaphosa, as a politician, was very strategic in what he did yesterday by making sure that the report is uploaded in public, so that because that is an antithesis of what democracy in action was demanding. So that argument then falls away because everyone can have access to the report. So I think that was a very strategic move. So we can all access the report because most people, maybe including myself, we thought that no, the president was going to take time, go through the report, keep us in the dark for a while. But he did the exact opposite of that.
We are approaching January 8th, the African National Congress going to celebrate yet another year, and the report comes out in this week. What is it likely to cause any more ructions within the African National Congress?
Of course, I think the president, I mean, I can bet my bottom dollar, he is going to say something about the report, because the ANC also was on trial at the Zondo Commission. And I think the image of the ANC has been affected because the ANC has been seen to be a party that is corrupt, using the state machinery to also amass wealth, or, some of the companies of the ANC have been accused of doing business with the state. So I'm sure the president will say something about that, which will form part of his statement over the weekend.
Just in terms of public procurement, the report also says there's a link between the corrupt grant of tenders and political party funding. Your comments here?
Yeah, I think the ANC for a very long time has been using the state machinery to finance its operations. And I mean, there have been people who have laid bare that evidence. A case in point is, I forgot the guy now, but he was the CEO of Prasa. He pointed out that the ANC has always forced CEOs of SOEs to dish out some tenders to the ruling party. But now, because of the new bill, party funding bill, it makes it very difficult now for business persons to donate money to the ANC, because they don't want to be seen to be participating in a corrupt relationship with the ANC. No wonder the ANC, I've heard that they want the bill now to be reviewed so that, some of their funders are not known.
Yeah. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa will only act on the recommendations of the commission that probed state capture when the last of its 3 reports have been handed over to him. Do you have confidence that heads will roll, as they say?
Well, we shall see how it goes. There have been many commitments that the president has made. Sometimes I think he promises too much. He makes a lot of commitments and he doesn't honor those commitments. In the build-up to the conference of the ANC, there were a lot of commitments that he made that the economy was going to grow, but at the moment the economy is not growing the way it should have. Corruption has not ended, and so on. So it's very difficult then to believe what he says. But yeah, I guess as a country we must cross that bridge when we come to it.
You reckon the economy would have been able to grow within the COVID-19 outbreak environment?
Look, I understand, Desra, that this is a complex matter in the sense that the past is still with us because we still have, remnants of institutionalization of corruption. What I'm saying is that he has not honored his commitment. He said the economy was going to grow,
Mr.
but
Breakfast,
I don't think that.
just a quick one, because we've got time constraints now. There are more than 190 mentions of former President Jacob Zuma in the 874-page report. Should the former president be worried?
Look, I think former President Zuma made a mistake by appointing the commission, then walk away. You should not have done that. You can't have it both ways. If he had an issue with the commission, he should never have appointed the commissioner in the first place. So I think he needs to take full responsibility. I understand his argument that him and his supporters, they say that the commission was instituted to project him as a person who is corrupt. But if he had an issue with that, I think he should never have appointed the commissioner in the first place.
Thank you so much for talking to us this morning, political analyst Mr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Let's take a look at your head.